Land management isn't just a hobby. It's a responsibility I feel we should all carry as hunters. For me, it's about shaping the land in a way that gives back, not only to deer and turkey, but everything in between. It's about restoring native habitat, building better cover, and creating food and water sources that help all wildlife thrive. I'm passionate because I've seen the impact. Healthier deer, a more balanced micro-ecosystem, and a legacy worth passing on. Looking over the map here, trying to find a place to put a good north-facing bedding thicket for early season hunting. We've got destination food source here, which is the ag field, then a giant clover keeper plot here. It's about 2 acres roughly, coming from the biggest block of timber on the farm, but the deer will feed right into here as a huge staging plot and filter out through this gap where we have a camera here and a stand here. Perfect for a north wind. Got water here as well, so food cover and water all right there. The only thing missing is a north-facing bedding thicket, and we could put one in very close to all of this. About an acre and a half in size. Somewhere right in there. That's a little bit bigger than I would want, but once we get in there, we'll get a better idea. But generally speaking, this looks perfect. We just need to get Matt in there to see what he thinks of the bedding thicket, and we'll get to cutting, knock it out. Should be good to go with the north-facing slope. Ideally, hunting it early season. Our 2024 habitat goals were the normal prescribed fire combined with canopy thinning. However, there were 2 main objectives on the farm, one being a cedar eradication project to eliminate a monoculture of cedars and restore native habitat. The other, which is very crucial to this story, being a bedding thicket on a north-facing slope to help increase our odds of tagging an early season buck. We called in our friend Matt Dye from Land and Legacy to get his professional expertise on the strategy and what exactly that scope of work was going to look like.
We're in Missouri, and September 15th is opening day of Missouri's bow season annually. Generally, alfalfa and clover are rocking at those time frames, and deer are pounding those food resources. But deer aren't utilizing south-facing slopes, and especially south-facing slopes that were cut to be very open and receiving that much more sunlight. But what we're trying to do is create rhyme and reason and pair the bedding and the time frame which they would use that specific bedding with the forage that we're trying to hunt. And so this north-facing bedding is about 150, maybe 200 yards off that kill plot, and would be hunted on a north wind since that food plot is south of us. So we've got a lot of things happening here, but north-facing bedding, early season, that's what your brain should go. And if you want to maximize the benefit of that bedding thicket, match the forage that's close by to the time frame in which they're going to be using cover like this the most. When we were here in March, you could not walk through here. It's now 100% usable.
This is exactly what it looks like right back here, which this is only about an acre and a half of the full 10 acres that we intend to do this to. But you can see the dramatic difference of what it once was and now is today.
This is extremely usable. Heck, you could see turkeys in here. You know?
Yeah.
This is usable for a turkey, whereas that, you really never would have seen a bird in there.
With it still being a little early to tell what sort of impact these projects would have on the deer herd, Matt was confident that we would get 100% usage out of the bedding thicket. We weren't going to waste any time, we immediately started gathering intel and making sure everything was ready to go for deer season. With the goals met, the job complete, the waiting game had begun.
September 28th. This would be the first time that I've hunted Missouri. I actually bought my tags earlier today. Dawson and I are giving it a shot here behind my house. Just gonna try to fill a doe tag. Got quite a few around here. Got room in my freezer, so why not? Cool. Thanks. Sweet.
After tagging the doe, I made a quick trip to the farm to mow the yard, but while I was there, I intended to do a little scouting. With it only being a couple weeks into the season, my strategy was to tread lightly, let the cameras do the majority of the work, and keep an eye on the weather. With the right conditions, I knew I would have a good opportunity to hunt in the near future.
Acorns. I don't know, that might be Wannabe. It's a buck. That's a big deer. We have a blind that's like 10 feet below us that we've hunted for years. Never killed a buck out of it. The wind seems to swirl because it's kind of in a hole here, so we're in the tree next to it, higher up, hoping our wind is more true. Visibility is incredible up here. We've already seen one shooter, not the buck we're hunting. So, it's not a bust. It's been a great evening. The clover looks really, really good for how dry it is. We're in a drought, to say the least, and this is some of the only greenery around. The deer are loving it, so maybe he'll show again. Turkeys are flying up.
Midwest Land Group has changed the way land is sold and is the only brokerage to offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you're looking to buy or sell property, don't before you talk to us.
October 22nd, and this is our first morning sit of the season. We're hunting by this pond where we have a camera, and there's been a lot of deer here getting drinks throughout the day and in the mornings. They've been here, but they haven't been here this morning, so thankfully there's a front approaching. See how the rest of this slow morning goes.
Despite the drought and warm conditions, I knew the clover plot was still going to be good with a little cooler weather coming. With a nearby bedding thicket that would cut in, water in close proximity, and the majority of the native vegetation going dormant, the tonnage from the clover was the obvious main attraction. The trail camera photos were solidifying my theory as well. All the boxes were checked, and this hunt was setting up perfectly.
There's a buck. Peter. Second. Seen him this month. That's awesome. Hope he makes it one more year. That would be great. Oh wow, that was a loud grunt. Super loud. No, it's Peter. He's chasing a doe. Run Wannabe 10. He's been here pretty much every night in the dark. Hopefully it's in daylight time.
Map, 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 map. Got him. I think I popped both lungs. He's down. Yeah. He wouldn't stop.
It wasn't the best shot that I got.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't even ask because I was like, he's pegged on me. Oh. Yeah. That was so awesome. Thank you, God. Oh, man. That was incredible. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Unbelievable. Gee, mini Christmas. I'm shaking like a leaf right now. That was an awesome hunt. That was so much fun.
There were so many deer.
Celebration quickly turned to uncertainty. After recovering my arrow and trailing a little ways, it was very apparent I'd caught liver. We marked last blood to give him more time and to return in the morning.
Trying to find the easiest way in. Here's one. Good spot. This was our last blood. Right here. We marked it where we found a bed a few hours ago. And the biggest reason we came back at like 4 a.m., which was 3:30, 3:45, it was 9 hours later. The biggest reason we came back then was because I'm worried about the coyotes. I mean, I do not want them to get to him. But we couldn't see that well. We're getting turned around, so we backed out. Obviously back here with daylight now, be much easier to see. I'm hoping and praying that he's not very far. I'm still gonna have my release on, just in case.
Oh my gosh, we were freaking 20 yards from
I
it.
figured that might be the case. It's so hard in the dark to find deer. I mean, my backpack's right here. Like, not 10 seconds ago, Chandler was rolling where I set my backpack down, and I was just saying, you know, hopefully he didn't go far. I've walked 10 yards and I rounded this corner and he's right there. He was most likely dead. Oh, I know he was dead when we were here 3 hours ago, but he probably died within 6 or 7 hours. So I'm gonna grab my pack and we'll go get him. Dude. Oh man.
That's awesome.
Ugh.
Can't believe that.
I can't either. Yeah, I'd say he's been here for a little bit. Wow. What a buck. And what a chain of events. Been bow hunting for 25 years, and apparently I needed to learn another lesson, or learn a lesson again, I should say, that we even have video equipment. You can watch the shot over and over. My arrow was the same evidence that it was a liver shot. I thought it in my mind, but we both heard, he's down, him crash into a tree as he exited the field there, and we just thought he was dead. What a hunt. He came out of a bedding thicket that we created with Matt Dye from Land and Legacy this past summer. Did some chainsaw work in there, removed about 80 to 90% of the canopy on a north-facing slope in about a 1 to 2 acre area. Created just a flourishing ground cover of native habitat, just a lot of food and cover, and that's exactly where he came from, and that was the purpose of us doing it there, because it was close to this clover plot. And thanks for being with me, Chandler, and praise Jesus. These deer are so awesome. "232 yards, and he was looping right back to the pond, which is exactly what they typically do on a liver shot.
What started as a simple habitat project turned into something much more. We set out to improve this piece of ground by creating a bedding thicket, hoping one day it might hold a mature buck. And sure enough, it came full circle. Only months later, right before the rut, that very thicket held the buck I ended up tagging. While it's never a guarantee, it is proof that the work we put in during the off-season truly matters. Not just for the hunt, but for the land, the wildlife, and the story that comes with it. What are we gonna go do?
We're gonna go get on the bobcat.
And do what?
With some logs.
Move some logs, that's right.
Okay?
Yep, just like that.
See at the bottom. See at the bottom. Oh, dude, you smoked him.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, is that a buck roar?
I don't know.
Sasquatch?
I don't mean it that way, but it sounded like something crazy like that.